Letitia James busted for mortgage fraud, and Trump gets the last laugh. Letitia James, the woman who basically made prosecuting Donald Trump her full-time job, just got criminally referred to the DOJ for mortgage fraud.
In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms.
Yep, the top cop in New York might have committed the same kind of fraud that she's been accusing Donald Trump of for years. You can't make this up unless you're CNN, in which case you just wouldn't make it at all.
All of those who died for me to be in this position, I am not going to disgrace them and disappoint them. I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield and challenge Donald Trump. And each and every time he issues an illegal executive order, I am going to stand up to him because he represents to me sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity.
So what did our Justice Crusader allegedly do? Let's take a little stroll down through the fraud file, shall we? She reportedly claimed that a 5-unit building in Brooklyn was a 4-unit property. Why does this matter? Because certain mortgages only apply to 4 units or less, and that's how you slide under the radar. She also claimed that her Virginia home was her primary residence, while she was running New York law enforcement. And here's the kicker of it all. She had allegedly listed her father as her husband on the documents. That's not just fraud, that's therapy worthy.
The President of the United States has complained that I'm engaging in some sort of political witch hunt, that I've got some personal vendetta against him, that I campaigned against him. That is not true.
This illegitimate president who sits in the White House.
That president, because he's not my president, he's an illegitimate president. His days are numbered. His days are numbered.
We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate until victory is won, but more importantly, until Trump is defeated. We will all rise up and resist this man, and ultimately we'll bring him down.
Now, you might be asking, could this all be a mistake? Sure, if it was anybody else. But Letitia James made her career on saying mistakes don't matter.
Well, obviously, the irony is perfectly crushing. This is a person who prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress. And among the charges that were brought in New York, in not just the civil but the criminal case, was making false or misleading statements to financial institutions. And one of these sections, Section 1014 of the federal code, is prosecuted. It took me about 60 seconds of a search to find cases that the Department of Justice brought against people who falsely claimed that property was their principal residence.
When the fraudster is wearing heels and has a D next to her name. Even liberal law professors are clenching their pearls over this. If we apply the Letitia James standard, this is a slam dunk. Translation, the queen of prosecuting paperwork errors just got caught with her own red pen.
Speaking of corrupt, the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, who reportedly is worth $15 million despite making less than $200,000 a year in her job. How did that happen, if true? Immediately congratulated herself, as always, after the ruling.
Everyone must play by the same rules. Donald Trump engaged in deceptive business practices and tremendous fraud. Donald Trump falsely, knowingly inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself, his family, and to cheat the system. Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
So big picture, the rest of us for decades now have been bullied into allowing the dumbest and most corrupt among us to run everything. They occupy positions of power in every big city in the United States, prosecutors' offices, and obviously they're tearing down what they didn't build. That's exactly what we're watching now. Maybe we should stop allowing that.
She's been out here acting like Trump inflated Mar-a-Lago by calling it a castle. Meanwhile, she's calling her dad her husband and her side house her main house. Now, let's talk about Trump for a second, because you know he's absolutely loving this.
Letitia Peekaboo James. They call her Letitia Peekaboo James.
This is the guy that she spent years calling a fraudster, a criminal, a con man. Probably even blamed him for her Uber being late.
This is a disgraceful situation. This is an attorney general, Letitia, that went out and campaigned on, I will get Trump. I will get Trump no matter what. I'll get Trump. I promise I'll get him. We have 2 tapes on her now that have come out since the trial because people took tapes of her because they couldn't believe her ranting and raving like a lunatic. But just as the Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, and she shouldn't be allowed to be Attorney General. She's defrauded the public with this trial.
And now the DOJ might be investigating her. Trump's over here saying, I told you so. And remember, Trump was right about everything, and it's echoing across Manhattan. He's already reposting memes, clips on Truth Social threads. At this rate, Trump doesn't even need a lawyer anymore. He just needs popcorn.
Oh, look, I got to get some. Oh. Look at that stuff. This is what I want. Just have it. We got to get it.
My mom just got a bag of that, actually.
Is it good stuff? Good?
She says it's the best.
Pass the butter. Letitia James hasn't said a word about this. No statement, no denial, no press conference, which is odd because this is the same woman who never met a microphone that she didn't like. You'd think if you were innocent, you'd come out swinging. But if you're guilty, you start deleting Zillow listings. Her office declined to comment. The DOJ hasn't confirmed they'll take it up. But let's be real. If this was Trump's kid caught doing this, MSNBC would have rolled out a 3-part docuseries already.
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what.
Let's not forget, Letitia James ran her campaign promising to go after Trump, not fight crime, not defend the Constitution. No, her literal platform was, I will investigate Trump and bring him down. Well, we got a plot twist. The only thing that's going down right now is the credibility of a woman who built her brand on a vendetta. It's like watching somebody scream about cheating while you're holding a burner phone and a Tinder subscription. So where's the media at on this? CNN, MIA, MSNBC, probably figuring out how to spin this as it's Trump's fault. NPR, probably too busy running stories on drag brunches in Vermont. The media only likes scandals when it's Republicans getting roasted. But when it comes to their own, crickets. Letitia James could walk into a Chase bank, rob the vault, and MSNBC would report its wealth redistribution. If the DOJ actually takes this seriously, it's a coin toss here, she could face serious charges. We're talking about wire fraud, bank fraud, false statements on federal documents.
Right, and this has been prosecuted in the past. Now, we have not heard her side of this, but these documents themselves are quite damning. It's hard to see how the residences listed were her principal residence. The business about her father is just bizarre. Now, I'll note that one of the things that Letitia James stressed in her case against Trump is that Trump had to review documents that were filed in his name. And so she dismissed the argument that this was something that Trump's people put together. She said he's ultimately responsible. So they allege that she gave a power of attorney in a couple of these instances. But according to her own standard, that's not enough.
Meanwhile, Letitia hides under her desk and hopes Trump doesn't start live streaming this from his golf cart. And the American people, they get to watch another public figure pretend law doesn't apply to them. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you think hypocrisy is at an all-time Olympic level, drop it down in the comment section down below before the DOJ decides criticizing Democrats is a felony. Smash the like button, share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.